Oh, hello and welcome back.
Kieran, what do you think of our working environment?
The sofa's quite comfortable, the studio's colourful, our working hours are reasonable.
Well, today's documentary is about the importance of a positive and healthy working environment so that employees don't get burnt out and stay productive.
I see. So what do they recommend?
Well, let's find out.
The British are among those who work the longest hours and take the least amount of holiday in the European Union. According to the Office of National Statistics, full-time workers in the UK are chained to their desks for 42.7 hours a week, and only a third of them take lunch breaks. We take a look at the current working habits of the British public and find out how companies are adapting themselves to meet the needs of their employees. Charles Fair is a consultant at A Great Place to Work. His company helps other organisations build positive and healthy working environments for their employees. He tells us about current working habits in the UK.
The typical working week in the UK is generally between 35 to 40 hours in terms of contractual hours, so 7 to 8 hour day would be standard. In finance, accountancy, law, for example, well, people may work much longer hours than their contracts.
Charles tells us about some of the problems of working very long hours.
The workforce can end up getting exhausted and burnt out, so that means there are risks from a legal point of view. People can end up well, for a start, going ill, which costs the employer, and then they may open their employer to legal risk from being sued.
He explains what is meant by a positive workplace culture.
A positive workplace culture is a culture where people feel able to give their best work, but feel supported in a way that they can do so. So it's support from colleagues, bosses, and the organisation. In the long run, it means that people are more productive. This culture helps to keep people happy, engaged, and in work.
One of his clients is the high-profile software company Salesforce. Forbes has repeatedly chosen it as the world's most innovative company.
The thing that's most unique about Salesforce is the culture. It's so open, so we have a really open plan office, we have breakout areas, we have areas where you can relax and brainstorm and think. You know, in Salesforce, you're really encouraged to be the future, to have a challenger's mind, to be innovative, and making sure you have an environment that supports that is really important. So you'll see there's lots of bright colours, we give people plenty of food, and it's just a great environment for you to be able to collaborate with your colleagues and come up with new things.
Salesforce encourages the spirit of innovation in all its employees. It is also a philanthropic organisation. Each year, its employees can devote up to 6 days to supporting a charity of their choice. All this helps to make Salesforce a place where its staff enjoy working. But what challenges can this also create for workers?
Because it's so fast-paced and it's so exciting, I think one of the challenges you have to be aware of is it's really easy to get really involved in the core day job. So I'll often find it's easy to work off the mobile, and you could very easily be in the evening approving things and writing emails without even realising. So I think one of the things you have to be conscious of is making sure that you separate out the two. But in terms of disadvantages, I wouldn't really say there were any.
Not all companies provide these creative opportunities for their workers. But there are certain habits and attitudes that can contribute to a good working environment.
The fundamental thing that you need in a great workplace is trust, and that is really driven from behaviours from those at the top of an organisation. And that's the thing you've really got to look at first. What behaviours do you have and what things do you do that drive trust or inhibit trust in your organisation?
We no longer live in a society that clocks in at 9 and finishes at 5. Our days are longer, our commutes more stressful, and we get information to our desks from all over the world. But it's the responsibility of both the company and the worker to ensure our new working habits are productive and healthy.
I wouldn't mind working for Salesforce. I like their open plan office and breakout areas, areas where you can relax and share ideas.
And they let their staff have 6 days off a year to do charity work. What a good idea.
It was interesting what the consultant said about trust.
The fundamental thing that you need in a great workplace is trust, and that is really driven from behaviours from those at the top of an organisation. And that's the thing you've really got to look at first. What behaviours do you have and what things do you do that drive trust or inhibit trust in your organisation?
So, trust is a vital quality in the workplace, and it's up to the bosses to encourage it.
Now let's hear from our international friends. We asked them, what type of personal qualities or personal habits are appreciated in your country?
The type of personal habits that are really appreciated in Jamaica is respect for the people around you, respect for authority, just treating people in a mannerly way.
In New Zealand, it's very important to be close to your family and to your extended family. So if you walk away from that group, you're considered to be really very much an outcast. I also think honesty, integrity, and above all, a sense of humour matter in New Zealand.
For personal habits, I would say punctuality, cleanliness, and being courteous.
In Australia, we appreciate an open outlook, good communication, good eye contact, talking to people.
I think one of the things that's really appreciated in Canada is a sense of humour. I think Canadians are known for their sense of humour. We have a lot of great comedians that come from there, and that's definitely a quality that's appreciated.
Respect your elders, that's the first one. And pray if you can. If you are praying in, like before having your meals early morning after waking up and stuff, we're kind of taken into a good, like people appreciate that.
I think being generally a kind and polite person who thinks of others before themselves.
I would say good manners are really appreciated. Standing up for someone on the bus, a pregnant lady, or on the tube, letting people get on transport before you that have been there before. Good manners are really well appreciated, and people will always notice as well.
Gosh, people mentioned a lot of different qualities and habits.
Being kind and courteous was mentioned by several people, or good manners, as the Englishwoman said.
The Canadian and New Zealander mentioned a sense of humour, and the South African said punctuality was an important habit.
Well, now it's time for That's the USA. Today, Jodie visits the Seminole Indian Reservation in the Everglades to find out more about the customs of this North American tribe.
You'll hear the word powwow. It's a kind of Indian ceremony when they all get together to eat and dance.
Let's watch.
Hello and welcome back to That's the USA. Today we're here at the Big Cypress Seminole Indian Reservation in the Florida Everglades. The Seminole story here is one of persistence, wisdom, skill, and the remarkable will to survive. This is the Living Village. We're here to find out more about Seminole traditions and their way of life. This platform hut is called a chiki. They were the traditional Seminole dwellings and were used for cooking, sleeping, and eating. Seminole Indians made these canoes from cypress logs. The boats were steered with poles. In the village, Seminole artisans create and sell beadwork, basketry, wood carvings, and other crafts. I'm here with Linda, a Seminole artisan. Linda, what are you working on?
I'm working on a sweetgrass basket.
It's beautiful. I see the larger one over here. How long did it take you to finish?
The large one took me probably about 2 months.
Wow. And tell us about the beadwork here.
The beadwork, we get our beads from the other tribal members when they have their powwow, or they bring the beads to us when we have our tribal events and stuff, and that's where we buy our beads.
How important is it to you to preserve the traditions and culture of the Seminole tribe?
it's important to us because we have to keep it going. So we teach the children at home. That's where it starts at. And then we're also teaching them, it's also being taught at the school on the reservation.
I'm here at the Atatiki Museum to learn about the tribe's history. The museum celebrates Seminole culture and heritage. The Seminole Indian tribe are known as the Unconquered People. The name came from Spanish explorers who called indigenous people cimarrones, or wild people, because they had refused European rule. The museum gives visitors an overview of Seminole life in the 1890s. There are more than 40 life-size figures engaged in daily activities. All of the figures we see here were actually cast from real members of the tribe. Seminole patchwork clothing is still often worn by tribal members. Wearing patchwork is a statement of pride, style, and history. I'm with Sam, who works at the museum and is a Seminole tribe member. Sam, tell us about the word Atatiki.
Atatiki is a Seminole word. The word means a place to learn and to remember.
Tell us about the customs of the Seminole culture.
One of the customs that we have is that we have clan systems that are named after the animals and birds. We're a matriarchal society, which means that the mother is who is in charge of the family. I myself am a member of the bird clan, and the bird clans are traditionally the visionaries and also take part in leaderships.
Are there any traditions that continue today?
Some of the traditions that continue today are the green corn dance ceremonies. We have that at the beginning of every summer, and this is where we do our social activities, ball games, traditional ball games, but we carry on our traditions which are like thousands of years old.
Well, thank you so much. Very interesting.
You're very welcome.
I had a great time learning about the Seminole tribe. I hope you enjoyed it. See you next time in Palm Beach.
It looks like the tribe is working very hard to preserve their traditions and customs through education, crafts and traditional ceremonies like the green corn dance.
Yes, and I didn't know Native Americans have a clan system, just like the Scots. Sam said he was from the Bird Clan, who are traditionally the visionaries.
Well, it's time to say goodbye now. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.